Heroes, villains, a tale as old as time, and the never-ending battle to protect truth and justice from those who thrive on chaos and bloodshed. Come with us as we peel back the mask on your beloved Crusaders of Light and dive deep into the dark and twisted abyss of the most feared and hated harbingers of doom. Follow your host, Power Maximus, and everyone's favorite demigod, Lord Triage, as they take a trip down the rabbit hole that is everything super. So, are you a hero or a villain? Either way, find that super suit and suit up for the Super Breakdown.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen. You guys already know what it is. In the words of T-Pain, I'm your host, Power Maximus, and we're here with your other host, everyone's one, the only, everyone's favorite demigod, the one, the only,
or Triage.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have something special for you guys today. We're bringing on a new host. He's a specialist. He's an expert in his craft. We're doing a whole new kind of setup while we do these things. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce you to a good, close friend of mine, Sajin Jack. Jack, say what's up, brother.
Hello, everyone.
Not creepy at all. Perfect.
Listen, I'm glad he said it because I damn sure thought it.
Oh, man. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is my good friend, Jag. He's a specialist. He's a gamer. He's a modder. He goes crazy, goes stupid. So, while we do this episode, in the background or on the screen, you're going to be seeing him going in, doing his thing that he normally does, just to give you guys a bit of a viewing delay while me and Lord Triage do our thing. You know, give y'all something that y'all want to look at and have a good time with, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, today we're talking about the one and the only. I don't know if there's any other. No. I can't say the only because there was like a live action sci-fi thing that they did that wasn't related to this. But we're talking about the Gargoyles, the 90s kids TV series, the Gargoyles. So, right now, Jack's we're gonna bring up the stream so you guys see what we got going on here. All right. So this is fun. Hopefully, you guys later on down the line, you guys can chime in the comments. You can let us know what characters you guys want to see go at it. See who will win. We have a huge roster. If there's a character that we don't have, we will do our best to get that character, and you can see that character go at it on a later date. But yeah, so right now we are talking about Gargoyles. It was a cult classic phenomenon, and it was above its time. I just recently started rewatching it as an adult, and it's great. Triage, if you don't mind, brother, do what you do and throw us into Gargoyles.
Okay, so 1,000 years ago in ancient Scotland, AD, it's supposed to be roughly around 994.
Mm-hmm.
It was supposed to be that there was a clan of gargoyles that protected an ancient castle from any outside attack. Now, the gargoyles were a force to be reckoned with at night, but they would sleep during the day. They would turn to stone.
Mm-hmm.
So this was supposed to be one of those one hand washes the other, both hands wash their face type scenario, because the gargoyles were supposed to be protected by the humans during the day.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things that this show does, and I thought it was really interesting for its time, is it addresses a form of xenophobia, because the gargoyles are really heavily discriminated against by humanity. They're looked at as monsters. They're mistreated. Some of them are even borderline attacked or attempted. I'm not gonna say the word. I'm gonna use the word lynched, but attacked for just being different, not even having malice or cruelness in their heart.
Mm-hmm.
And with some of them, we see how that reflects on them later on, taking sort of a separatist mentality.
Now let's go. For those who don't remember, let's go through the characters. We have Goliath, who was voiced by the most amazing Keith David. If y'all don't know who Keith David is, y'all been living underneath a rock.
You're laughing,
right? So we have Goliath. Next to Goliath, we have his first love, Demona. Above Goliath, as like grandfather figure, we have Hudson.
And Hudson was actually the original leader of the clan. He stepped down. He put Goliath in charge when he felt like he was becoming too seasoned.
So when he felt like he was too old, he was like, "All right, it's not time for the young bloods to get in there."
Basically, yes.
All right. So after Hudson, now we get down to kind of like the kids of the group of the clan. We have Lexington, Broadway, and Brooklyn. Right?
I agree.
Lexington, Broadway, and Brooklyn. These characters are like the youngest characters in the group. They, you'll as you watch the show, you see them go out, adventure into this new world that they've woken up into. We'll get into that in a second. They're always getting into some kind of little mischief just because they're curious and they want to learn. And then we have the gargoyle dog, the animal of the group, Bronx. And those, and all of them together are. It's this show to me feels like a child version or animated version of a soap opera. So so if you haven't watched it, it's on Disney Plus. I'd say go back and take a look at it. So now with these gargoyles, Goliath and the rest of his clan, you said this takes place in Scotland.
Yes.
So from Scotland, like how? Because if you watch the series, they're not in Scotland. They're in like what looks like Lower East Side Manhattan.
Correct. So the gargoyles had fended off the group of Vikings that were trying to raid and pillage the area that they were protecting, and in the process of doing this, the captain of the guard suggested to the leader of the clan, the leader known as Goliath, he suggested to him that instead of waiting for the Vikings to attack again, they should attack in full force and just run them off. Which, I'm not gonna lie, if someone shows up on my doorstep looking for a fight, I'm gonna give him a fight. So I understand where he's coming from.
Yeah, same.
So instead of taking his entire clan out in full force to deal with this problem, he chose to deal with it himself along with Hudson.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Demona, Goliath's second in command, actually repeatedly begged him to take the whole clan, so that way they could all fight together and wipe the invaders out. Goliath refused, and then lo and behold, the gargoyles were led into a trap. So when Hudson and Goliath got led away from the clan, they thought that they were running the invaders down, only to find out that it wasn't them that they were chasing, but their horses, and that they had circled actually back around to the castle. But so by the time they tried to turn around and come back, the sun came up and turned them to stone.
And so at this point, they're turned to stone. All their clan, all the gargoyles are turned to stone. So now the Vikings, they head back, and now they start, their attack and their siege on the castle.
Exactly.
During the day, while the gargoyles are turned to stone, and they can pretty much overrun. Now at this point, once pretty much the castle's been taken over and everything, the leader of the Vikings has the the princesses or queens guard essentially with him. And at this moment is when you find out that the guard had actually betrayed the queen and the gargoyles and everything. But a part of the deal was, hey, you don't have to, you ain't got to attack anymore. You won. The Viking leader's like, nah, I'm not going to take the chance. So he decides that he's going to destroy the gargoyles while they're turned to stone, and proceeds to completely obliterate and smash pretty much the entire clan.
Right.
Now, would you be able to remind me how Lexington, Brooklyn, Broadway, and Bronx survived?
So Brooklyn, Lexington, and Broadway are considered to be younger members of the clan. I always took them as sort of like the teenagers. Like, if I could compare them to anyone, I think of them as like, what if Michelangelo, Donatello were rolled into one and could fly?
Yup.
With a little bit of Raphael seasoned in there.
Yeah. I mean, if I was to look at it, I'd see Brooklyn as a little more on the Leo side. Broadway definitely would be on, a mix between Mikey and Donnie. And then Lexington, I can definitely see him as more Michelangelo than anything.
Nah, Lexington is definitely more Donatello.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. I think of the wrong one. Lexington is actually the green one. I'm thinking of the red one with the snout. That's Brooklyn.
Yes.
So Lexington is the little green one with his wings like a sugar glider's wings, kind of.
Yes.
So with that, yeah, no, I don't think. Yeah, you're right. Definitely Donnie. So now, damn, bro, you really fucked my head up with that one. Now I'm really thinking about it. I'm like, wow, those three are really similar to, the three younger of the turtles.
And I try not to do that because I'm not big on comparing other stuff to the Ninja Turtles, but that's one of those moments where it kind of works. Now, so what happened was they had gotten to a little bit of mischief the night before when everything happened. So Goliath, as punishment, sent them down to the rookery. Now, the rookery was the part of the castle that housed all the gargoyle eggs that had not yet hatched. So they wound up getting turned into stone in the rookery. So since they weren't out on their ledges where they would have been sleeping, they weren't destroyed.
So now where was Demona at this point?
So here's the humdinger. Hold on, because Demona had been revealed to have been in cahoots with the captain of the guard who betrayed the gargoyles and betrayed the queen. So when Demona found out that the clan couldn't leave with Goliath, she wound up not sleeping on her ledge either. she actually was planning on warning the clan that, like, yo, look, I put some things into play. It might not work out the way I want it, but at the last minute, she chickened out and wound up hiding on the far side of the castle. So instead of being on her perch where she would have been by Goliath's side, she was actually down there by the water on the whole other side of the castle. So she wasn't even visible.
Oh, damn. So her ass got lucky. They didn't really like look like that. That's so now we have these guys. So Hudson and Goliath, they're off by the forest, turned to stone. We got the younglings who have turned to stone in the rookery, and then we have Demona who's been turned to stone off in the cut somewheres.
Right.
Nighttime falls. They all wake up. Goliath and Hudson, they get to the castle. It's ramshacked, destroyed. Pieces of their brothers and sisters are strewn out everywhere. Then at this moment, Goliath, he's thinking, that's it. They're all gone. I'm alone. That's it. And then, sure enough, the young ones, they come up from the rookery with Bronx and stuff, and next thing you know, it's just them. Now, how does this, like, from this point going forward, what happens? How do they end up being turned to stone for this thousands of years?
So from here, the remaining gargoyles decide to figure out what happened to the people who were in the castle, because the castle was empty. So they thought whoever it was who laid siege to the castle, since they didn't find bodies for all these people, they must have been taken prisoner. So as Goliath constantly says that a gargoyle's duty is to serve. And it's like how they're supposed to serve humanity. So it's like a gargoyle that doesn't serve humanity doesn't have a purpose. Which I kind of thought was interesting, because like I almost compared it to like the way they talked about the whole thing with the way of Bushido.
Yeah, the way the purpose of a samurai is to serve the king or the lord, his lord.
Right. So.
And a samurai without a lord is a ronin, a disgraced samurai.
And that definitely fits Demona, but
big time.
So Goliath actually winds up leading the surviving members of his clan on a siege on the Vikings. So when he's trying to he goes after the head of the group trying to rescue the queen, while the other gargoyles take on the rest of the army. So in the process of this happening, the leader of the Vikings takes the queen, and they thought that what's the word I'm looking for? The queen had an assistant who was like who was almost like a Merlin type. So he was a sorcerer.
He was the mage.
Yes, the mage. So the mage thought that Goliath basically had got her killed. So when he saw Brooklyn, Broadway, and Bronx and Hudson, he blamed them and cast a spell that turned them to stone. And then lo and behold, Goliath comes back revealing that he had saved her, because he wanted the leader of the Vikings wanted to hold her hostage and ransom her off. He, the mage was kicking himself now because he thought she was gone, and he did this in a fit of rage. So Goliath was like, "How are they stoned at night? What did you do?" He's like, "Reverse the spell." He couldn't reverse the spell because the leader of the Vikings, who had kidnapped them, was tearing pages out of the mage's book and was burning them, and the counter curse was burned out of the book.
Oh.
So Goliath asked him, he's like, "What did the spell say exactly?" The mage said that they will sleep in stone until the castle rests above the clouds.
And so with that, Goliath is like, you know what? All right, I'm alone now. Repeat the spell on me.
Yes.
So he
Right.
chooses. What happened?
So right before he does that, he makes them swear a vow of
To protect the
the
eggs that
eggs
are
in the
left in the
rookery, and there was like 36 of them, or like 38. So he's like, there's technically a whole nother generation of gargoyles yet to be hatched and grown who need protection. So he makes the mage and the princess, excuse me, or the queen, swear to protect the eggs. And then once they do that, he tells the mage to cast the spell one more time, and he says to do it, turn to cast the spell on him.
So now we fast forward thousands of years into the future. We see, what do we see now? Once we get into this future, once they've been turned to stone and they find themselves asleep for these thousands of years.
We a businessman and self-made billionaire. I'm gonna assume
emphasis on the self-made.
I'm gonna assume he was a billionaire. They never said how much he was worth, but with the shit he was doing, like he had to have Bruce. He would have had to have money like Bruce Wayne, Oliver Queen, and Lex Luthor combined.
I think we got to throw one more person in there. Like this nigga had like Scrooge McDuck type money.
Oh God, he said Scrooge McDuck.
Like this because I say this because this nigga literally somehow has the money to literally move an entire castle brick by brick from Scotland to Manhattan. On top of it, reassemble the castle exactly how it was, brick by brick, on top of a
skyscraper.
At that point, had to be the tallest skyscraper in New York City.
Yes.
So that technically it would break the spell. The castle would then rest above the clouds. So that nigga has Scrooge McDuck money.
So like, yes,
Scrooge McDuck money.
He literally had the castle rebuilt on a skyscraper, on the highest skyscraper in the city. And then he's sitting out there one night, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he hears a faint roar. He turns up as it starts to rain, and the gargoyles wake up.
And
now, initially,
that's a whole bunch of craziness after that.
Now, initially, they're all happy to see each other, but lo and behold, it gets revealed that, as they turn and look, they realize they're not in Scotland anymore. And then that's when this eccentric billionaire by the name of David Xanatos reveals himself and explains how he broke the curse.
Now, he only knew this because apparently, we end up finding out that he had been researching the gargoyles for years, and like essentially, this is like his life's work that he's been working on to bring the gargoyles back to life. Now, I never understood what necessarily the reason was for that. Like, I can't remember. Did he give a reason why he brought them back? I don't remember.
Well, it's also revealed that I just want to take a minute real quick and acknowledge the character of David Xanatos, who was hands down years before his time as far as the villain went.
Yeah, I feel like he was definitely, I wouldn't say heinous. I would definitely say he is one of the most I can't say heinous because he's not that bad. But he was one of the legit baddest villains I've seen in a long time.
Like I've seen some people play good villains on TV. Like I always go back to my one of my favorites is Michael Rosenbaum and everything he did with Lex Luthor on Smallville.
Oh, absolutely. And like he gives me Lex Luthor vibes. Xanatos definitely does.
He gives me Lex Luthor vibes along with Malcolm Merlin. Like if they were one person.
Yeah. Yup. Most definitely. I 100% agree. It's like it's crazy. Like when, ladies and gentlemen, and in level sevens of all ages, like not all ages because this is a pretty explicit show. But like watch this character, and when you do your research on the character, and when you listen and read, because there's comic books for this as well.
Yes, there is.
This character, he's a genius. He is a super genius. He's an evil genius. So again, when we say Lex Luthor mixed with Malcolm Merlin, do your research and you'll see what we're talking about. That's the level of this guy.
Like even when he lost, he still won. Exactly.
He's one of those type characters. Even when he loses, he still wins. It's crazy. So, like I said, I just started watching through it again. I'm not as far as Triage is. Triage is already about to finish the second season. But he's despicable. Let's put it that way. He's despicable. Some of the shit that he does, like Triage. What's some of the shit that he's done in this show?
Like, this is the guy who it's revealed actually that he's actually part of the Illuminati. So I'll drop that right there.
Oh yeah, yep.
And it's like when Power said earlier that he was self-made, it actually gets revealed that his fortune started because a mysterious benefactor sent him a coin when he was a teenager, and that coin wound up being worth a significant amount of money. He took that coin and invested it and basically built into a multi-million-dollar empire. Now, it gets revealed later on in the show that when he gets married, he goes back in time on his honeymoon and winds up sending that coin to the Illuminati to send it to him, with explicit instructions on what to do with the coin once he gets it. So he literally made himself a billionaire.
It's like just that train of thought, that thinking, just like, you know what? Let me just slide this to myself in another 2,000 years. And it's not just one coin, it was like multiple coins that he would send to himself over the course of the years. And with that, we end up finding out that, like, yeah, no, like, this guy, he gives a whole new meaning to self-made millionaire.
Big fact.
Self-made man. Like, shit, I'm surprised he's not his own daddy.
Oh my God. This is not Futurama, Power. Stop it.
Huh? Give me a sec. I gotta remember. I haven't watched Futurama in years. Oh, well, again, the professor and the little one is himself. He cloned himself and has himself running around. Gotcha. I remember now. Woo. Jeez. Had to show my age for a second there real quick. Been a minute.
But now, one of the things that some of the things that Xanatos had tried to do was that he wanted to use the Gargoyles as his own personal army. But it's like once he realized that they had personalities of their own, they couldn't necessarily be controlled or manipulated so easily. He decided to replace them. And the reason why this was is because it had been revealed that Xanatos had actually been in cahoots with Demona, who had also survived the purge at the castle.
So That's when he made the essentially Robo Goliaths.
Steel Clan.
Well, the Steel Clan. Yep.
And I never understood why he modeled them all after Goliath. I thought that was a little weird, but I'm not going to go along with it.
Yeah, because as I watch it, as I look at Xanatos, it reminds him of an obsession. Like he has an obsession with the Gargoyles. He has an obsession with Goliath in particular because of Goliath's strength, his power, his confidence, and his prowess. He sees himself, a little bit of himself in Goliath. So he's like, this guy's the apex predator of the Gargoyles. Like, yeah, no, I need to replicate him. He's the leader. He's the king. He's the strongest and biggest. That's why they call him Goliath. So I really think that's why he modeled them all after Goliath. It really looks like a type of obsession to me.
I'm not disagreeing.
Because again, I just want to point out, this man went back in time to make himself a self-made billionaire. Also, he can move a castle, spend money. Listen, it's expensive enough for here in America because there's the ability of like literally picking up an entire house and just moving the whole house. That's expensive. Now imagine moving that house from Scotland to Manhattan, board by board, and then having to pay somebody to reassemble that board by board. The extent that he went through in order to break this spell so that he can try to have the Gargoyles be his personal army and stuff like that. He's obsessed with the Gargoyles. That's literally a lifelong obsession. You wouldn't just do that if you kind of just like something. Nah, like he's like in half the stuff that he's done the shit with Hudson. He kidnapped Hudson and tried to use his skin as like to create an elixir to make him immortal. Like, come on, that's pretty dark.
Yeah, and then like when he couldn't control the gargoyles, he tried to basically essentially build his own, and that's what led to the mutates. So he had a doctor who specialized in genetics, kidnapping people off the streets, and he combined them with a bat of the animal kingdom, a different big cat, whether it be a tiger, a panther, or a lion, and then gave them the electric powers of an eel.
So is this where Talon comes into play?
Yes.
Well, let's not even talk about Talon yet, because we haven't talked about the second most important character of the show yet, who isn't even a gargoyle. She's human. Aliza Mazda.
Yes.
So now, Aliza Mazda, she is a Manhattan, right? Yeah, it's like she's a Manhattan detective, kind of like rough around the edges, kind of just like the old school. If you think about a detective from New York, or if you watch SVU, Law and Order type detective like that. So on the night that the Gargoyles are awakened, the spell's broken. The castle ends up being attacked by a air quote outside company trying to steal Thanatos' technology or data. A big firefight ensues. The Gargoyles are fighting because at the end of the day, they're like, this is my home. I'm still protect my home. Even though we're not in Scotland, I'm still protect my home. So now we have the Gargoyles teaming up with Xanatos to fend off this air quotes rival company. And while doing so, things start getting blown up, rocks start falling, this and that. So Aliza, she's assigned the case of figuring out what happened and why it happened. So her first thing is, this is Thanatos' property, so I'm gonna go talk to him. So she starts to investigate, everything going on. and in doing so ends up stumbling across the gargoyles. Before daybreak, so they're still moving around and stuff like that. And in my opinion, things got a little weird after that, but I'll get into that a little bit later. But yeah, so now she ends up becoming an ally or a friend to the gargoyles and helping them out with daily situations. The gargoyles end up helping her out with certain cases that she can't solve and stuff. Um, but yeah, it's so she's a really important character, and a lot of she essentially ends up becoming the new love interest. Demona was supposed to be that character. We find out that she's actually a bad guy or whatever, and then Eliza becomes the love interest for the main character Goliath. And again, this is where I say it gets weird. This man is a goddamn gargoyle. You are a human. How are you falling? Like, as a detective in New York, is your love life that bad that you fall in love with a statue? Like that just always bothered me. It's like, come on now, like, how's this gonna work? How do you love that's like some Beauty and the Beast type shit.
Well, that's definitely what it was, because there was an episode when they go out on Halloween and she's definitely dressed as Belle.
Oh, okay, all right. Now that makes sense. But here's the thing: that would make even more sense, because throughout Gargoyles, throughout the show, we can see that there is certain similarities to other pieces of literature, such as Shakespeare with Macbeth, as well as there was another one. There was another story of Shakespeare's that you see a lot of similarities in this show. So it wouldn't surprise me that they would decide to do a little pay a little homage to Beauty and the Beast. And plus, it's also Disney too, so they're gonna suck themselves.
What?
Disney's gonna suck themselves.
Oh my God.
They do.
No,
Do.
I'm not saying a word. I'm just gonna nod and go along with it. Keep going.
They can't even see you nodding. But apparently he's nodding. But yeah, so Disney has a thing where they put Easter eggs to, what I mean? They put Easter eggs to like some of their own stuff and other products
Yes.
of theirs. So that's what I mean by kind of, gawking themselves a little bit. Yeah, look what we did. We have this and we have this kind of thing going on. But yeah, again, how you're human. What makes you think that's gonna work? How is that gonna work? And Jesus
I mean,
Christ, my head
technically,
just
what you
went
have to do is
somewhere.
not get pregnant.
Wait, what did you say?
Nothing.
No. We can't just blow past that. What did you say?
I didn't say anything. Move on, Power.
Nope. Because I know full well it wasn't Jag, because Jag's Beauty. He's playing the game. You said something about something getting pregnant.
No. I said hopefully people weren't that arrogant.
Uh-huh. Well, since you won't say it, I'm probably gonna say it. How is the fucking gonna work?
Oh my God.
Children, cover your ears. How is that? Was she just gonna wait until the morning time to use rock hard and go for it? Like, come on now.
I'm not saying anything.
Listen, we agreed that we're not being people with this anymore. But that it's just because as an adult, when you watch things as a child, watch things that you watched back when you were a kid, you get a different. You start to see different things. You start to notice different things.
See, you had to go all bestiality with it. It couldn't have been an interracial couple. It couldn't have been, because that's another thing. Hold on. Wait a minute. That is one thing I want to point out. Elisa Mazza is not white. it's revealed that she's Native American and
Nigerian, right?
yes, that was something else I thought that was really interesting because as a kid, I never paid that no attention.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that. It didn't even like occur to me. But even then, that's another awesome thing. Thanks for changing the subject. I didn't want to go back. I didn't want to finish going down that rabbit hole. 'Cause it was about to be a dark hole there. But that's another thing that I really appreciated about this show is that the diversity ridiculous. The diversity is ridiculous.
Right? Because I honestly, I don't think Xanatos was white.
No, he's not. He's not. At least he doesn't seem it. You know, his skin is a darker pigmentation. He's like brown, well, black hair and brown eyes.
Like I take him as almost being like Middle Eastern.
The name Xanatos, I would say Greek or Italian. Yeah, I would say definitely like Italian or Greek along those lines. But yeah, he wasn't white. It was very, very diverse, from the gargoyles being diverse in their looks and the attributes of their physical characteristics and their personalities. They all had such different personalities that it all really kind of just made it all work together. And not to mention, again, like the other side characters that you run into. You run into the Italian mob, white guys. You're running into characters that are all black, and even then, if you look, her Eliza's brother, he's darker than she is, and has more African American features than she does.
I agree.
So now this basic question is, because that's her older brother. Now you look at it like, all right, well, was her brother from a previous marriage with from her mom? And then because she actually has like certain characteristics of the father character. She has the lighter skin, but she has the darker hair like the mother character and stuff like that. He doesn't. He's like, this man looked like, if you threw a black trench coat on him, you can call him Blade. And I mean, he ends up, later on down the line, Xanatos and all his heinous and grotesque experience and experiments, and his obsession ends up, doing that whole mutation, and her brother actually ends up being one of the people that was kidnapped and experimented on, and he ends up becoming the creature known as Talon, which I haven't got there yet. So Triage knows way more about the how Talon came to be than I do. But we'll get there. For me, I'm like halfway through the first season right now, so I haven't got to all the good juicy bits that that we're about to talk about. Because after this, we're gonna dive more into Triage, what Triage has seen, and now that he's about to be done with season 2. So, like I said, we got Talon gets created and all this stuff. There's so many other characters that we end up getting introduced to. Like Goliath has a brother. Goliath and Demona end up having they have a daughter. And there you get introduced to other types of gargoyles and stuff like that. But I'll let Triage take away on that one because he knows more about that than I do.
Okay, so hold on. So we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. One of the things that winds up happening is that after the gargoyles have a confrontation with Xanatos actually winds up going to prison, and now when Xanatos gets released from prison, Aunt Elisa keeps trying to tell them that the castle's not their home anymore. They have to leave because when Xanatos comes back, he's gonna be with all the smoke. We have to find a place for you to go. So Goliath was the one who was like very stubborn about it because in his mind, the castle was their home, and it's like he couldn't just abandon it because he felt like it's all he had left.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're not in their native home. He was like the people that they were supposed to protect are all gone. He's like his rookery brothers and sisters are all gone. So it's like, what is it he has left? So with some strong convincing, he winds up moving to a new location, and that was the clock tower. The clock tower actually doubles as the police station for Elisa. So I thought that was cool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So once they make that move, Goliath basically has the clan swear a new oath of fealty to the island of Manhattan. They acknowledge the island as their castle, and it was like that they'll protect it from anyone who would do the people harm.
Okay. Now, I said, I'm literally like right there. I'm not gonna lie, I passed out at the end of that episode. Like right at the very end, I end up knocking out. So I haven't got there. That's literally the exact same part where I'm at right now. So please, good sir, educate me. What happens next?
So after that, so Xanatos is a very, what's the word, that Machiavellian type character. So even when you think he's not doing some shit, he's doing some shit.
That is a good way to describe him. That's very good.
So it's like there are situations that happen that he either manipulated or were directly responsible for that either the gargoyles were unaware of or were only cleared and included after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the ones that I thought was really interesting was like Power had mentioned earlier that Goliath has a brother. So along with Demona's help and sorcery and a little technology, they wind up bringing one of the shattered gargoyles back to life. A gargoyle that they called Cold Stone. And that gargoyle was actually revealed to be multiple gargoyles and made of multiple gargoyles. So it's technically 3 gargoyles in one body.
Oh, so let me get this right. So when so did they while they were collecting the pieces, did they just accidentally collect pieces from other gargoyles too?
It was never really clear on that because in my mind, I always thought it was one of those things like where they put him together, not realizing that the personalities would be meshed in there also.
Yeah, so I'm thinking because the way it sounded like it was like, after collecting the pieces of this gargoyle, they ended up picking up pieces from 2 other gargoyles too, and essentially ends up accidentally Frankensteining.
Exactly.
All right.
One of them was a beloved brother of Goliath. Another one was one of the rookery sisters, and then another one was a gargoyle that had a huge beef with Goliath. That was never really explained what his issue was, but it was definitely there.
Yeah, I'm really excited to get to this part of the story because, like I said, even as an adult, going back and rewatching this, bro, the first 5 episodes, like I keep saying, the first 5 episodes had me on the edge of my fucking seat, dude. I'm on the edge of my seat. And now this shit just makes me even more excited.
Yeah, I know, man. Tell me about it. You couldn't wait to see what happened next. And then Cold Stone has this whole identity crisis because you have these 3 personalities that are warring for control of the body and also trying to figure out what's right and what's wrong. Because he wakes up, excuse me, I'm not gonna say he or she, I'm gonna say they, because this is one of those things where I say where the show's ahead of its time because you have this this character who has these multiple genders and multiple personalities inside of them. So like this was one of them things where if it was done in modern day, it probably would be. And I don't want to make presumptions or anything like that, but I feel this would be a them they scenario.
I agree, because again, like there's multiple personalities and multiple characters within the one body. So I would say it would be a they. It would be they them.
And that's something that I think that, like I said, would work really interesting in like a modern day society. Like has anyone seen Cold Stone? Like, yeah, they just came back from patrol, or I'm going with them to go take care of this. Like so I get the whole the play on that. So I thought that was very interesting. And the thing also was I took Cold Stone as a bit of a play on mental health.
Really? How so?
Because one of the things that troubled the character so much is because you had the personalities that were constantly at war inside the mind. So Goliath was always trying to figure out the best way to help them without destroying them. So it's like that was never an option. So it's like he was like, what do we do with this person who's basically whose own mind is attacking them? Sort of like the whole Khalil painkiller type thing.
Oh, all right. I see.
And it's like, one of the things that we don't talk about much, especially, amongst Black folks, is mental health.
And again, for like this show came out in the 90s. Well, it was like what, 90
96?
95, 96, yeah. So these are topics that were non-existent at the time. Nobody was talking about, oh, I feel sad, or nobody was talking about, I have other things going on in my head and stuff that I can't explain. These were not things that were really being talked about at the time. And for them to create a character that has multiple personalities, right? That cannot be deemed he or deemed as she, but you have to call them they, which is something that we're literally just now within the last 5 years as a society getting used to doing. Now, mind you, it's 2023. This is the show that was created in the 90s. So to me, that just blows my mind, and not to mention, like, to jump back a few episodes, the whole episode, the whole gun violence episode, and the gun safety, the gun safety episode, that shit blew my mind. That I didn't realize it as a kid, but oh my god, like this gargoyle really was busting, it really accidentally busted a cap in her. It was an actual gun. He was playing around with the gun and fired, and ended up firing it off, and ended up hitting and almost killing Eliza. Like literally, like, she was like, when he dropped her off at the hospital, she didn't have a pulse, they said.
Yeah.
And at the end, even she's like, I should have been more careful where I put my gun down at. Because again, as we're understanding that these characters, Broadway, it was Broadway for those that end up doing it. Broadway, Lexington, Brooklyn, they're all young. So that's like the equivalent of, and they're just now learning about this modern society. So they're just now watching the old cowboy movies and cowboy films. So pew pew everywhere. You can just throw a gun around and be fine. So that's what he's doing. He's throwing a gun around thinking it'll be fine, and pow, goes off. So one, it's a lesson to him, do not play with guns, and the lesson to her to be more careful with how with her gun safety and where she places her gun and stuff like that. And again, these are things that like you don't really see in a kids show. Mind you, it's a kids show for kids.
Oh, it had its moments for the adults.
Yeah, I was born in 94. This came out in 96, 97. I was still I was still wetting the bed at that time, damn near. Um, so it's just it just the show just blows my mind of how ahead of its time it was, but also how good it was. Because we had spoken about this earlier, and you don't really see a lot of shows that are ahead of its time that receive a level of success. Because to me, Gargoyles reached a level of quote classic success to me, almost on the level of how the '90s X-Men came out. Because mind you, there were Gargoyles and X-Men were running at the same time. And I feel like X-Men is the only reason why Gargoyles didn't end up going crazy like X-Men did. Because I feel like X-Men outshined it. But I don't know. This show is just it's crazy. So now, we get introduced to Cold Stone. There was another thing that about the show that was just so far ahead of its time that just like it just blew my mind. You have them introducing the mental health aspect of it, talking about that, which is something like you said as a Black community we weren't talking about for a very long time. But I don't know. It's just there's so much I want to say about this show, and I just don't know how to say it because it's still mind blowing. We're watching it as an adult and having it still be like, holy shit, this is so good. But along with that, like, because the success of the show, it spawned games, it spawned comic books, didn't really have a successful toy line, but it had a game and it had comic books. And from what I've heard, the comic books were pretty dope, were good. I think it was a situation where the comic books kind of continued it on a little bit.
Oh yes, that does happen from time to time. Sometimes for the better.
Yeah, and then others for the worst in some cases. But now, we talked about the characters. We talked about, the story. Oh, one thing before I head on with that, the gun episode. Triage has mentioned earlier about how certain scenarios and this storyline actually affect the characters, and we see it change the characters in the long run and change the way they're thinking. And from that moment, Broadway had a hatred of guns and firearms because of what happened to Eliza. And we see situations like that. We see the Gargoyles in every episode put in a situation that is morally questioning them, that requires them to think outside of themselves and or overcome this this personal, essentially kind of like a personal attack.
Mm-hmm.
And in doing so, by the end of the episode, the characters changed forever. And we don't normally see that. We didn't really see that back then. We saw kind of like every episode was kind of like a one-off episode. There wasn't not many cartoons for kids had an actual, storyline, had an actual plot to it. It was all just standalones and one-offs. This show, every character affects every character. Every action has a reaction. The writers really made sure that this storyline was clean. As clean as it can be, at least.
Yeah, like you've got stuff that happens in season 2, 30 episodes in, and it's like it still goes back to the pilot.
And that's crazy. And I just want to point out, like, what show do you know back then, animated show back then, had a 5-part intro? I've heard of 3. I have 2, 3. I've even heard of 4. But a 5-part intro? That's insane. Right? That's insane to me.
Like I remember when Batman Beyond first premiered, it actually didn't even come on a Saturday. It was a Friday evening, and they put it on. and I remember they had the 2 parts to it, and I thought that was really interesting. So like if they had put this shit on like that, it'd have been watched like a 2-hour movie.
Yeah, it pretty much is, because I see each episode was like what, 23 minutes.
Yep.
Each episode is like 23 minutes, and there's 5 of them. So yeah, that's 2.5. That's like almost 2.5 hours. A 2.5 hour movie right there. And again, finding a back then a movie being 2 hours was long. That was long. Back then, movies were only like an hour, maybe even an hour and a half at max. But 2 hour movie, that was insane. It was unspeakable. But now, moving forward with the characters, moving on into season 2, they have the new headquarters, have a new home. They made a new vow. What happens next from here?
So from them moving on to try to protect the island of Manhattan the best they could, they run into a few other enemies along the way, and one of those enemies that is a recurring pain in their side is the Pack.
Oh yeah, we first run into them in the first season, where they try to trick Lexington into pretty much leading Goliath into an ambush.
Yes. And then from then on out, Lexington has a bitter hatred towards them.
Yep.
Now go ahead.
And then like this, which again, how often did we really see shows have characters that were so reoccurring? A lot of them, like Captain Planet, they had like their main villains, but in Power Rangers they had their main villains, but you didn't really see like the same kind of like throwaway monster pop back up over and over and over. But with this, like these characters, the Pack, they show up like regularly, and even then, one of the characters, Fox, has a large role to play later on down the line.
She does. And then here's another thing. So like here's the wild part. So like the Pack winds up actually getting arrested, all of them but like one. And the one that didn't get arrested was Dingo. So they're all sitting in cells, and then lo and behold, Dingo shows up with some dude calling himself Coyote, and they break them out of prison. So Jackal, Wolf, and Hyena are like, all right, let's get out of Dodge. And Fox is like, no, I'm gonna stay. And they're like, are you nuts? Like, you want to stay here, live out the rest of your sentence? Like, this is insane. We're not doing this. And then Hyena goes to kill a guard, and like Fox basically fights her to stop her from doing it. And then like she's like, if you guys are gonna go, go. So they did. Only to be revealed at the end of the episode that Xanatos orchestrated the whole thing so Fox could do what she did. That way she could get out of prison early.
So because she saved the guard, they were able to lessen her sentence.
Right? And that's when it gets revealed that the Pack had worked for Xanatos all along. The only one who knew was Fox, because Fox was in love with him.
Oh, okay. And again, this is where we're talking about. This man Xanatos is a straight goon. He is heinous. He's an evil genius. Even when you think he's not working on something, he's working on something. So, it's a very complex story, but it's 100% worth looking into and watching, because it like I said, it takes twists, it turns, and just when you think you're understanding the story, and just when you're thinking you're understanding who's who, no, it sweeps the rug from underneath you. You're not able to, I feel like there's certain times where like you're not even given a moment to catch your breath, because it's one thing after another, after another, after another. Now, with that, So she ends up getting her sentence lessened. Kind of find out she's pretty much been like a would you say a mole? You think would you say like she had been kind of controlling the pack the whole time?
Well,
And
she was the leader of the pack.
yeah, well, what I mean as in like making them having them think, oh, hey, we should go do this when all in actuality is actually Thanatos's his like his plans. Like essentially she's controlling them indirectly for him. Is that nine? Yeah, that's nine. It's fine as nine. Dope. Um because like because of the fact because she loves him, is that kind of like how it was working? Like he'd say, "Hey, yo, Bay, I need you to go have the crew go do this." She'd go to the crew and be like, "Hey guys, I just stumbled across a new score for us." Kind of situation, or was it just like they all knew that it was Thanatos, kind of giving the orders?
Nah, it was just her.
All right, so yeah, she was kind of going back, like, all right, yeah, let's go hit this new score that I just stumbled across, kind of thing, right? Um, so from there, we end up, like I said, this is in season two. I haven't got there yet, so this is where triage has full reign because I'm lost. I'm about to be lost on whatever he says next. So now she gets her sentence lesson. She gets out. Where do they go? Where do they go from here? Like, what's next on? What happens next with Goliath and the clan?
So, one of the things that I thought was really interesting with Xanatos is like Xanatos is obsessed with gaining immortality,
Mm-hmm.
and it's also revealed that he has dozens of mystical items that have been in his possession or found their way to him.
Mm.
Like there's one episode where he winds up having a jewel called the Eye of Odin, and now he gives it to Fox as a wedding present. So it was supposed to be that the Eye of Odin was supposed to endow its user with great power and make them who they truly were. So it basically turned Fox into a were-fox.
What?
Yeah. Like it clearly, I think it was more supposed to be like a whole werewolf because the whole thing with it being Odin's, but
Yeah.
it basically made her a predatory version of herself. So now Xanatos, I almost said Thanos. So Xanos,
There you
Jesus
go.
Christ. Xanatos had expected this. Xanatos had actually suspected that this was happening and tried to figure out a way to help her, but he also monitored and kept files on everything that she was doing while she was transformed.
I would too.
Right? And he actually admitted that if he knew that the Eye of Odin was that strong, he'd have never freely had given it away.
He would have been using it on himself.
Or found a way to monopolize his power to his benefit.
That's true. That's true. Come on down to Xanatos Emporium. Get yourself turned into a werewolf for $9.99. He would have made it work. Or he would have hired an assassin and gave them the power and ability and have them essentially be assassin for him and work for him. That sounds like more Xanatos's style
Right?
than an Ivan Ooze-esque kind of thing.
Yes. So like season 2 to me was a bit more of that type of menacing. Like they had to clean up situations that the other villains have caused. Like there's a series of episodes called City of Stone, where Demona went to Xanatos and told him that she could cast a spell that would allow herself, Fox, and Xanatos to take. She was going to cast a spell over the Broadway, over the television waves, and how anyone who heard it and saw it, it was supposed to take minutes to seconds from their lives, and that they would be able to use those minutes and seconds to add to their own lifespan. Now, once again, 2-3 minutes a person, maybe even 5, that's not a lot. But if we're taking 2-3 minutes, if we're taking 5 minutes from everyone on the island of Manhattan,
that's a lot. I mean, it's still, as opposed, I was just thinking about the same thing. As opposed to like how long the normal life is, that's probably about like, how many people are in the city of Manhattan? Is like a few thousand.
it might be a few. It might be a few million power.
A few million in the city of Manhattan. And Manhattan itself, I don't think it's a million. A million? Huh. I don't know. Do some math real quick.
1.69 million people currently live there now.
Goddamn. So 5 minutes times 1.629 million. That's a lot. That's a lot. My math is real rusty, but I can tell that's a lot.
So that's what was supposed to happen. In actuality, Demona had casted a spell which turned all the humans to stone at night. And then this harpy went around, destroyed everyone she saw with a warhammer and a rifle.
That's nutty. So, all in all, that was just going to add about 8.145 million minutes to his life. A part of me still don't feel like that's a lot.
Well, it depends how often they did it.
Oh, it was going to be a reoccurring thing?
It might have been.
That's a different story. Because if he's getting 8.1 million minutes off of one broadcast, then now if he was to drop that broadcast once a day, that's a different. That's very, very, very different. Very, very different. Now, not to mention, if it's not just Manhattan, if he's doing this broadcast all over New York, all over the city, that's 8.7 million people in New York City. Yeah, that's ridiculous. That's especially heinous. Hell, dude, he puts a broadcast over New York State, the entire New York State, bro. That's almost 20 million people right there. Sounds like a smart idea. But you said something about the harlot. What the harlot do?
Instead, the spell turned all the humans into stone. And then she proceeded to go around killing everyone she saw with a warhammer and a rifle.
That's pretty badass, though.
Yeah, Demona was heartless.
Yeah, she really was, and she's another villain that I felt like there really wasn't much of a compass for her.
Well, I compare her to sort of like the evil queen from Once Upon a Time.
She's been hurt so much that now it's like I'm gonna hurt everyone else.
Yes.
Agreed.
Like Piccolo said, your need to kill is killing you.
Yeah. For me, I feel like because she had been hurt so much and now she's like, you know what, fuck everyone. Like that made her super dangerous. And again, she's a character that she wanted what she wanted, and she was going to stop at nothing to get what she wanted, even if it means betraying and or killing, people that she used to call friends and family. And I just find that shit crazy. I find that super, super crazy. And again, they call her Demona for a reason, the demon.
Yes. Macbeth gave her that nickname because he said that she fought like a demon.
And we should have known something. She's the only one of the motherfuckers with red eyes.
That's something too. That was unique to her character because all the other gargoyles, their eyes glow white when they're upset. Hers glow red.
And only 3 of them had it. Oh no, never mind. And also unique, all their hair colors were either black or white. She had fire red hair with red glowing eyes. I kind of feel like in hindsight, Goliath kind of should have saw that coming. It's like, you know what? There's something different about this one.
Yeah,
I don't know.
She had that good is what it was.
I'm telling us that's what it was. She popped them things in real quick. It was over. She said, glide with me on the slip and slide, Goliath. So, the day is breaking. Know what that means? Time to get hard as a rock.
Idiot, just idiot.
But I'm sorry. Quick little side tangent. Did they ever explain how gargoyles were created? Clearly, we know that they hatch, but at the risk of sounding like a 5-year-old, triage.
Where do gargoyles come from?
Yeah.
So it is explained that the gargoyles do pick partners and do mate because that's where Angela comes from because Angela is revealed to be Goliath's daughter along Goliath and Demona's daughter. Like Angela literally looks like Demona, she's just Goliath's pigment.
Mm-hmm.
So in my mind, I'm thinking that when a male gargoyle loves a female gargoyle very much, they right?
They bump stones.
Yes. And then the female gargoyle winds up pregnant, and instead of her giving birth like a mammal would, giving a live power, she lays an egg.
Now, how big is this motherfucking egg?
Oh, I'd say it's probably about twice the size of a basketball.
Hey, yo.
All right.
I just want to say, if that's the case, the elasticity on that thing must be crazy. Gotta be crazy. No wonder Goliath was so head over heels for her and so damn hurt that she betrayed him. Like, damn, man. You had that good, even though it stayed wet even when you turned to stone. Like, come on now. You gonna do me like this, Demona? Really, Demona?
I'm gonna apologize for him. He's not right in the head. He doesn't always know where to stop or draw the line. He means well.
He's not wrong. Freedom of speech, baby. Anyways, but yeah, so it's just they smash and she lays an egg twice the size of a basketball.
I'd say about that, yes.
No wonder she was so damn angry. I'm just saying, if you had to push something out of your body that's twice the size of a basketball, and then the world around you wants to hate you, I'd want to destroy everyone too.
Yeah.
I would. Like, do you see my ability? What I can do? I push this giant rock out. Respect my authority, goddammit. Yeah, that's just me. If I had a twice the size of basketball egg coming out of an area that shouldn't be stretched that far. What the hell just happened in the game just now?
Wow, what happened?
All I heard was just a lot of yelling and punching. And it was as if somebody was just getting like the brakes beat off of them right now. Jack over here going in. He's just listening. He's just going into it. Going in. Let's check in on our resident game player real quick before we get back to the story mode. The story real quick.
Hey,
Welcome back, good sir. How are you doing? Because you're over here going ham right now.
mm-hmm.
Oh, that's what was going. He's beating his
Yes.
face into the ground.
Yes,
What characters are you playing as right now? Who are these guys?
I'm in the gameplay itself at this point. So,
Oh, you're watch. Oh,
yeah,
and
it's
it's in
itself.
watch mode. All right. Double tap random. Bet.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, for those who don't know, what we're watching right now is Mugen. If you're watching this, if you're a nerd, you know what a Mugen is. Bunch of characters, damn near anything and everything you kind of think of thrown into one fighting game, and you just watch them beat the brakes off of each other. Tis what we're doing, watching them beat the brakes off of each other right now. They're breakless at this moment in time. Anyone who's watching, just want to give you a warning. I don't know if you have seen the sensitivity warning at the bottom. The stream is definitely rated M for mature, and there's strong explicit language if you haven't already seen. It's graphic, blood, and suggestive themes. Also, we got a photosensitivity and epilepsy warning here. Epilepsy warning. You got a lot of flashing lights going on in this game. So you might, if you do happen to have seizures, if you start to feel affected, please stop watching the stream and take a break. Um, but yeah, if you feel weird while you're watching, please stop immediately and do what you got to do to take care of yourself. Um, but yeah, there's my disclaimer. Want to give a shout out to our sponsor. Haven't given them a shout out in a little while. W Crashless Jitterless Energy Drink, absolutely amazing. I use it honestly at this point in time. I use it on a regular basis, and it most definitely keeps me more focused, keeps me more energized. Like I said, by the time I feel it stop affecting me, I'm ready to hang out, sit down, and I'm done doing what I want to do. Doing everything that I needed to do. Um, this energy drink is awesome. It tastes great. Comes with their own shakers and everything. It's a great product. We do have a promo code, so if you guys are interested in trying this for those hardcore gamers, or for those of you that just want to grind out for a little while and binge watch it, this is the stuff for you. If caffeine's not your thing, there is a caffeine free product right here, as you can see on the screen. I haven't tried this one yet, but this is my next one on my list. I'm gonna try the Monkey Madness right here. But yeah, I knew it. I knew it. I knew you were gonna say something back there, Triage, about it. Yes,
I
yes.
niggas that's the motto. Laughing well to big good I go.
But yeah, guys, check out www.w.gg. Head to the cart, put in promo code hashtag TSB2023 and get 10% off your next order. I'm telling you guys, it is well worth it. It just tastes great and you feel great after. And honestly, you can stop worrying about your wife bugging you, fiance bugging you, girlfriend bugging you, boyfriend bugging you. about getting shit done. You drink this, it gonna get done. You ain't gotta worry about them bugging you no more. So yes. Now back to your regularly scheduled programming. All right, now on to season 2 here with Xanatos, Fox gets free, gives her the this item, turns her into a werefox, whatever. It's modern turning her. Where do you think what are the next line of events that happen going forward? Woo! That was got loud real quick.
Over there enjoying himself. So, in the
Yeah.
process of
Mhm.
this happening, of the city of Stone, after that whole incident gets cleared up, it's actually very interesting what happens next because Goliath, um, Ali- Elisa, and Bronx, they wind up actually going on a mission where they wind up going around the world via magic, and
Via
they've actually
magic.
yes.
Okay then.
So okay, so what happens is that their strange knight arrived in Manhattan, claiming that he's looking for Goliath, and how that knight is revealed to be one of the children of the castle from the pilot, who's now an adult. It's a young boy by the name of Tom, and Tom addresses the gargoyles and tells them that they have to come back because their home's under attack, and their
Wait a
home is
minute.
actually under attack from someone that Hudson had to deal with back when he was in control of the clan. He was the ruling gargoyle head of the clan.
So hold on. I have a question real quick. So this kid Tom, is he the kid that we see talking to Broadway and asking them about their name, if they have
Yes,
names? But
yes.
that was 1,000 years ago. So wait, so they go back in time first, ended up bumping into this kid, or this kid arrives in Manhattan and then they go back in time.
He winds up in Manhattan, and what happens is he uses a spell to transport them from Manhattan to a place called Avalon. Avalon is where they took the eggs, and the eggs have all hatched now, and the gargoyles have reached maturity.
Oh, all right, all right, all right. So I'm just so confused. Is this kid like immortal? Is he like 1,000 years old, or did he use the spell to go forward in time to find them?
Well, time actually passes differently in Avalon,
Oh,
so time is much slower there.
all right. I didn't know that. All right, so that all right. Now that makes sense to me now. That makes sense to me now because I was confused. I was like, hold on. So this kid, I was thinking of the right kid. So all right, okay. I'm caught up now. I was really confused for a second. But yeah, he talks him into having to come back and help them fight this villain that was essentially a villain of Hudson's when he was in charge of the clan.
Hmm.
So they end up traveling across the world via magic. And where do they end up?
They end up all over the place from going to Egypt to London to Paris to Prague to Africa to Norway, Guatemala, Japan. And the wild part is that all these cultures get represented in all these different ways. From Goliath having to battle Odin in Norway to them having to battle Anansi. Shout out to Orlando Jones in West
Good,
Africa.
good.
And then going as far as having to deal with the god of the death, Anubis in ancient Egypt, because the pack winds up resurrecting him and tries to have someone take control of him as like an avatar. That way he could once again, Xanatos in a bid for immortality, wants to be able to cheat death. Who else do you invoke but the god of the dead? And then they had to fix that.
Mm. So these motherfuckers are just hopping around the timeline, fixing Thanatos' messes, or is it just random situations that they end up having to fix because they end up running into there?
Well, as it got explained, is that when you leave Avalon, you can reach Avalon on any body of water. You just need to know the incantation to take you there. But it's also revealed once you leave Avalon. Once you leave Avalon, you're not necessarily sent to where you want to be, but where you need to be in the moment. So it's like they had dealings with the pack, so they wound up dealing with the pack in Egypt. Like when they went to London, they came across another pack of gargoyles who had been surviving in plain sight, running a sort of like magic shop. So all the people who saw them thought they dressed up for work every day. They wound up meeting gargoyles also in Guatemala. They wound up meeting gargoyles in Japan who studied Bushido and actually worked and lived alongside with the humans.
Samurai gargoyles.
Dope, right?
That's just crazy. I gotta catch up, man. I gotta catch up because it's just sounding too good. Oh man. So now they're popping around all these different timelines. So Avalon, it takes you where you need to be, both in space and time. So it doesn't matter, like they can throw you back in time, forward in time, or keep you in that same timeline and then just throw you to different, areas of the world. So it doesn't matter the time.
I'm sorry, say that again.
So like with Avalon, like when you leave Avalon, like you said, it puts you where you need to be, not necessarily where you want to go. So
exactly. Does
that count as in time as well?
Well, that was never really clear because I always thought that the incidents that they were dealing with were in modern day. And like when you saw the pack, you had to have seen the pack because the pack knew where they were. And they fought the pack on 2 different occasions while they were traveling. They fought them in Egypt and then they fought Jackal and Hyena again in Guatemala. Then they ran into Dingo in Australia. So the pack had to know where they were, so it had to be a modern day issue. Then you have the whole thing with them meeting when they went to Africa and had to deal with Nancy. They actually ran into Elisa's mother, who happened to be there studying.
Oh, okay. Excuse me, pardon me. Oh, okay. So it was present time then. That's at least in that instance was like present time. See, I don't know if you guys aren't catching on yet. This show has so many like small, intricate, like the inner workings of the show, and within the writing is just phenomenal. Again, because like after the gun episode, how often do you really see her mom?
Our family, period.
Exactly. The only time you see her brother again is like really, I believe, when he gets turned into Talon and when they have that whole episode there.
No, you see him again because when Elisa goes missing, when Elisa, Goliath, and Bronx go missing, they wind up searching all over the place and can never find them. So Lexington, Bronx, Brooklyn, and Hudson decide that they need to go ask Talon. So Talon thinks that Xanatos is somehow responsible, and Brooklyn, who's actually now in charge because Goliath winds up picking him to be his second in command.
So how long are they gone for?
It was never really clarified, but I took it as they were gone for at least 6 months.
Oh damn. So in these episodes, they bounce back and forth between what Goliath and them are doing and what Hudson and them are doing.
More or less, yes. Because one of the reasons why Brooklyn specifically did not want to speak to Xanatos because he didn't want Xanatos to know that Goliath was missing.
All right, and he would have took that as a sign of weakness.
Yep. Like, oh, really? The big guy's missing, huh? Okay, I'm about to start showing my ass.
Mm-hmm. I ain't got to worry about getting foiled. All right, bet. Now, how does this all end up concluding? Like, what are some of the other people that they run into, and how does the storyline end up concluding?
So the way the storyline winds up concluding is that there's an episode where Goliath had something called the Phoenix Gate, and the Phoenix Gate allows you to travel forwards and backwards through time. It's basically the equivalent of Space Stone,
Okay.
right? So Goliath vowed to never use it because he'd already seen it be misused on several occasions. Now, a problem came in when they wound up in London. They ran into a pack of gargoyles who claimed that they had met him years before, and he'd never seen them before, so he was confused. He didn't understand. And then how those gargoyles wound up taking Bronx, Elisa, and Angela hostage. So Goliath actually goes back in time to World War II and actually meets these same gargoyles along with their leader, who they claimed had disappeared along with him. And the reason why they had never saw their leader again is because Goliath goes back in time and saves him repeatedly throughout the night, and then realizes that fate must have it out for him, and then takes him from the past and brings him into present day.
Oh, so ends up like a ton of paradoxes.
Yes. Just like how Xanatos had made himself a millionaire by going back in time and sending himself the money in order to start his company, Goliath had to go back in time to meet them, to save Griff, to come back to present day with Griff, for them to be like, oh, he's still alive.
Oh, okay. So for them, it was years.
Yes.
But for him, it was only from one place to another. Yeah, second. That is so. That writing is crazy. Just the concept, and again, I'm just speaking on the fact that we're talking about the late '90s here.
Oh no.
We're talking about the late 1900s. Like this is crazy. Like I really can't. Only other thing that I can remember myself back in the 90s that were this like that who had that had a storyline this intricate was, let me see here. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know. I can't think of it. Only other thing I think was like when 2000s hit and Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue dropped. That story was really complex. That story was super dense, super complex, and honestly quite dark. And again, not to keep talking about Power Rangers, but yeah, it was quite dark. So that's the only other thing that I've myself have watched that is such a intricate storyline that you really got to pay attention to, like what goes on and what's going on within the story. And hell, again with Gargoyles, you got to pay attention to shit that happened in at the beginning of the first season for you to understand what's going on later on in the second season. And all these paradoxes you could easily get turned around.
Right. Well, one of the things that was interesting is because there's a character, a trickster by the name of Puck, who tries to steal the Phoenix Gate from Goliath.
Mm-hmm.
And in the process of doing this, he basically shows him a war-destroying future where it's supposed to be that Xanatos had conquered the island of Manhattan and had succeeded from the United States, and how it was basically that the island of Manhattan was now Xanatopia, and
Ew, he
how the
couldn't think of a better
gargoyle,
name.
what?
So he couldn't think of a better name?
Xanatopia? I guess not.
That's narcissistic.
He was a bit of a cunt.
Yep. Yep. So is it explained where this Drifter character comes from?
Puck? Puck
Yeah.
is one of the children of, if I'm saying it correctly, I want to say Oberon?
Oberon?
Oberon, excuse me, yes.
Hmm.
And Oberon was never really explained from what I've seen, but basically he's like this all-powerful deity who basically ruled over Avalon years before. So it was supposed to be that they wind up meeting him for a brief respite while they were in Avalon. And it's like how they more or less got told that with everything going on, that they were going to have to go.
Hmm.
And it's like, they were like, that we've been here for years. We raised the gargoyles here. Like, we more or less have started a family. We're not going anywhere. And he was like, I am more powerful. Who are you telling me what I can and can't do? Like, if I had to compare this king from Avalon to anyone, he reminded me a bit of the Beyonder from Spider-Man.
Ah, really?
Yes.
It would make sense. The story that the shows are around the same time. It would make sense for them to have gotten some kind of influence from the other, from other shows. So they end up leaving Avalon, and like, does now is it just Goliath and Angela and them, or is it like all the gargoyles that are there on Avalon that have to leave?
No, he told the queen who had the Magus and then the guardian of the gargoyles along with the gargoyles, they had to go.
Oh, so he just kicked everyone out.
He tried to.
What you mean he tried? They didn't leave?
Well, it was more or less one of the things like where they got outsmarted.
Oh.
Because Oberon is explained to be one of the Fae or the fairy folk.
Yeah.
So the Fae have a weakness, and it basically got exploited against him. And then once he got exploited, he basically agreed to terms that were laid out to him.
Oh, okay. So it's like the equivalent of catching a leprechaun by the beard.
More or less.
I was like, all right, I got you in the corner now. That's compromise.
I do have a coworker that looks like Matt Sweeney. I'm just saying.
Yes. Um. So I ended up, I was sort of like, what kind of compromise you ended up coming to?
That they were allowed to stay on Avalon as long as I forget the exact way it was worded, but basically it was one of those things where they got to stay.
All right. Now, does Angela end up going with Goliath and them when they go back to Manhattan?
Yes.
All right, dope. So now he got his own a bigger squad now. And again, everybody, this is pretty much Triage just giving me a synopsis or a run through of the rest of the show, and I'm still gonna watch it. Like, I'm literally asking them to give me spoilers, and I'm still gonna watch it because it's that good. It's seriously that good.
Okay. This is actually something I would have liked to have seen, like, be live action, like, with, and have like an underworld feel to it.
I agree. I definitely agree. Something a little something because the show itself has a darker tone. Just the ambiance of the show in general has that
Mhm.
definite dark gothic tone that Underworld did. I think they would have definitely been able to pull it off. We spoke earlier a little bit about this, and especially with the practical makeup that they did from Marcus. Yeah, they can easily do Gargoyle, and they've been turning things to stone and unturning things in stone for years. So these are things that can easily be done, and that have already easily been done before. I would really like that. It's just like so. My problem is that I would in this age of reboots and remakes, I just feel like they're gonna fuck it up.
I
That's
mean,
yeah.
they couldn't. It's one of the things. As long as they kept it true to the source material, they consulted the people who originally worked on it, and they brought an air of seriousness and danger to it. It should be fine.
You're right, but they're not gonna do that, right?
I mean, and also, especially like what the characters they're working with between the Pack and Xanatos, and especially with a character like Xanatos, because Xanatos could win and everyone be like, "Yeah, yeah, I'm okay with that." Like I can't wait to see what they do in response to this, but yeah, I'm all right with this.
Honestly, yeah, he definitely seems like he's a villain that I wouldn't mind him winning
Who would you
because
have playing?
of what was that?
Who would you have playing?
I couldn't hear you. You cut out a little bit.
Who would you have play David Xanatos, like in live action?
Mm. Jason Momoa.
Okay,
I was absolutely fucking joking on that one. Um, mm, Xanatos. I'm trying to think of somebody that gives that air of confidence, yet arrogant, yet narcissistic. Somebody that would visually be able to pull off the role.
I already got it.
Who you got?
I know I'm a brother. I'm a butcher the brother's name, and I apologize. You're a Mummy fan, right? The one with Brandon Fraser,
Oh yes, that's thank you. That's who I was thinking of. God
the
damn it,
dude who was Artist Bay,
Abdul Arbe.
the one that was Artist Bay, the one that was the leader of the Magi.
Yeah, yep. That's exactly what I'm thinking of too. What's his name? Yes. Oded Faher.
Yes,
Yep, yep.
I could see him play Xanatos and it'd be believable.
100%, 100%. Because as I'm thinking, I'm like, yeah, that's he has that look. Definitely. I mean, he's a bit older now, but just for men. Um, they can he bro definitely because he was also in Resident Evil too, Extinction
Hmm.
and Apocalypse. Of course, you see his acting in Deuce Bigelow, American Gigolo. We've already seen him, have this air of confidence, excellence. I am who I am. Kind of style about him, a flair about him. So I can 100% see that. 100% see that. Now, I would say, all right. So now I got one for you. Oh no, nope, nope. You answer that one. You answer that one for yourself. So I'll say so. I would like to see, because now I'm thinking about Demona. Who would you have played Demona?
Would I have played Demona?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm gonna catch some hell for this. Wait, no, hold on. So we need to do these two back to back. So who are you having play Demona and who you haven't play Elisa Mata? Because they're gonna have to square off at some point in time.
For me, I would say so. Demona, it's got to be someone with that edge to her, that oomph, that look at me wrong, and I'm probably gonna rip your throat out. Um, I'd have to say because the only people that come to mind is black actresses.
Duh.
Mm,
Either black or Spanish.
no, for Demona, for Demona.
Yes, for her. Yes, either.
Okay. If I'm all right, if I'm restricted to black or Spanish. Um,
I mean, you're not. That's what just comes to mind for me. You say whoever you want. I just
I'll
want to
be
see if
honest.
we're gonna agree.
I'll be honest. Yeah, that's what comes to my mind. Black or Hispanic. I'll give Michelle Rodriguez Demona.
Really?
Yeah, because we've seen her have that. Yo, you look at me wrong, put my boot up your ass. We've seen that. We've seen that from her. Hell, dude, there was a whole movie where she essentially got changed into a dude,
Oh,
and she
sweet
was
Christ.
just going around like, no, my bad, I take it back. No, there was a dude that got turned into a woman, and he was an assassin, and it was in retribution because he didn't kill this lady's husband or son or whatever, killed her family or whatnot. So as revenge, she kidnaps him and gives him a sex change and turns into a woman.
Good
Yeah,
Lord.
yeah. I was apparently it was a good movie. I didn't watch it. But apparently it's a good movie. But yeah, we've seen her rough, tough, out there, ready to throw hands. We've seen that character multiple times in Resident Evil, Fast and the Furious, number one, Fast and the Furious. I can't remember that boxing movie that she was in as well.
That's actually one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, I can't. Why can't I remember the name of it?
Come on, it'll come to you. It's a very simple name.
No, because only boxing movie that keeps coming to mind aside from Rocky is Cinderella Man. That's the only one that keeps coming to my head, and that's how's his name, the white dude.
Russell Crowe.
Yes, Russell Crowe. Yep. Um, yeah, dude, I can't think of it. What is it?
Girl fight.
Go, fuck. Really? I thought I had a rougher name than that. Oh, yeah,
Nope.
I was thinking of something completely different. But yeah, so we've seen her rough and tough and out there and ready to throw hands. So now for Lisa, looks wise, and I hate to keep pulling people from the Fast and Furious franchise, but I think look wise,
Joanna who?
Joanna Brewster. That's she plays Mia in Fast and
Oh,
Furious.
okay.
I looks wise, yeah. Um, I don't know if she'll be able to have that go getter. I'm out here. Can't nobody stop me. I'm gonna bring them to justice. Um, I don't know. I don't know if she can bring that to the table, but she is an amazing actress, and I think she would definitely have the look down pat.
Interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah. Now, who would you have play them?
Oh well, if I'm having anyone play at least a Mons, it's gonna be Rosario Dawson.
Fuck yeah, you win. You win. Yeah, you win. You win. Yeah, I
And
can see.
if I'm having someone play Demona, I'm having Demona played by only one of two people, either Viola Davis,
Uh,
just because like you said, with the attitude,
yeah,
with the
yeah,
with the
definitely.
strength, and the whole I'll rip your head off. Like I could, we've already seen her do that on a few occasions.
Yeah, especially in as Amanda Waller, and then recently in Woman King, right? That was it.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Or I'm going to say the other person I'm going to say is Cynthia Robinson.
Cynthia Robbins.
She was also Amanda Waller on Arrow.
Oh, the young light skin chick.
Yes.
I'd go more Viola Davis.
To each his own.
Yeah, I definitely. I feel like Viola Davis had more. I feel like Viola Davis's Amanda Waller had more of evil genius vibes of it because everything that she was doing had an end goal to it. I kind of felt like the Arrows Amanda Waller was kind of like, I don't give a fuck, let them die. Did they do what they came there to do? Yeah, I don't know if they can die anyways. No, Amanda Waller, but Viola Davis's Amanda Waller was like, did they get what we need? Yes. Is there any way that we can pull them out so we can use them for another one? Yes. Do it. Get them the hell out of there. I want my team back. Not because she cared about them, but because she knew that they were assets to be used. I feel like the one in the air in Arrow was too willing to throw away a good asset based off personal feelings.
Every one of us is expendable.
Yep, pretty much. All right, Brooklyn.
Who's playing Brooklyn?
Mm-hmm.
My son Kick Ass.
Something Jones.
Aaron Taylor Jones. I can see him playing
Aaron Taylor
Brooklyn.
Jones. Yep. Um, it's funny that you say kick ass. I thought you would have said fucking Godzilla from Godzilla or fucking Quicksilver.
Yes, Kick Ass is probably my head for like some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, that was the first thing it went to.
Well, if I had said Quicksilver, people might have thought I meant Peter Evans.
I can see Peter Evans as Lexington though.
Oh yeah, I could see that. And then for Broadway, I'm going to say Jonah Hill.
Absolutely. Or Seth Rogen.
Oh yeah, or Seth Rogen.
Yep. Either one of the two.
So who's playing Goliath? And Hudson.
Oh wait! I got it perfect. Broadway, Bert Kreischer.
What?
Bert Kreischer.
Bert Kaiser.
Yup. You never heard? He's a comedian. Fat white comedian, and he's absolutely hilarious. You never heard of Bert Kreischer?
I have not.
He has a movie coming out with Mark Hamill. It's called The Machine, based off a piece of a comedy sketch he did.
I do know who you're talking about now.
Yep. Where he learns Russian and whatnot in college. He ends up going on a trip to Russia with his class, and they're on a train. And he ends up robbing a train with the Russian mob and shit.
Yes.
Yeah, him as Broadway. I can most definitely see that.
Okay.
They have that comedy, definitely the gluttonous, and at the same time I feel like that anger and ferocity that we've seen, especially when it comes to guns. I feel like he can definitely pull it off. Goliath is tricky because for me, I can't get over Keith David playing Goliath. For me, it's the voice. Yeah, he has to be Goliath.
Mm-hmm.
He has to be Goliath. You said somebody earlier.
I said, if anyone should play Goliath, in my opinion, it should be Manu Bennett.
What was the first name?
Manu Bennett, the one who was Crixus on Spartacus. The one who was Deathstroke and Arrow.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah. Okay.
I could definitely see him being Goliath.
I can see that. I can see that. Give me a sec. I'm gonna. I haven't seen him in a minute. He played who else? What other character do I know him? What other character do I know him from? That was before. I was before Arrow.
I said Crixus on Spartacus.
Yeah, but there's something else too that I know him from before that.
I'll say that was like the big first time I remember seeing
him.
What about Hudson?
Hudson, I'd go with Ian Chan.
I'm sorry, I can't put the name to a face.
Ian McShan, from the Continental.
Ian McChan from the Continental.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Ian McShane. I'm sorry. Yeah, I can definitely see him playing Goliath, or Lawrence Fishburne.
Wait, are we talking about Goliath or Hudson?
Oh, you said Hudson.
Yes, I did say Hudson.
Yeah, for Hudson, either Lawrence Fishburne or Ian McShane. Shane. For Goliath, I have to agree with you. I agree with you with Goliath. With Manu. I feel like I just thought about something that would be hilarious.
You gonna keep it to yourself?
Vin Diesel.
Yes, keep it to yourself.
All right, listen. I was trying to keep it to myself. I knew you weren't gonna want to hear it. I didn't even want to hear it. That's why I was trying to keep it to myself. So
why? Why?
Because of family. Why else?
Because of what family?
He had they're big, they're brawny, and all they care about is the safety of their families. All they care about is the safety of their families.
Once again, why are you entertaining this?
That's why I laughed, because it's not necessarily what I wanted. It was just a random ass thought that popped in my head. I'm not serious about it. I'm just saying that shit would be funny as hell. Tyrese as a Lexington.
Will you stop? Will you please fucking stop?
They're both bald. Why not?
I'm saying, excuse me if I butcher this. Tamir Morrison, the one who's Boba Fett, I think he should be Hudson.
Wait, the guy who actually plays Boba Fett?
Yes.
Yeah, I can see that. To To be honest, I can actually see him as Goliath. Actually,
But I can see him being that more mentoring character, especially with him having been the original Doctorian Spartacus.
right? I'm sorry, I can hear you cut out.
I said I could see him being that mentoring character, especially having seen him do it already when he was the original Doctori in Spartacus. He was the one who originally trained the gladiators before Animaeus took over.
Oh, okay. Now, because when we're making these, hold on, let's get Jai back in here. You stepped out so you can reset the game or whatever. All right, really. Jag, can you hear me, brother?
Yeah.
All right, there you go. Welcome back.
Game went too hard.
Went
too hard.
Crash.
It went too hard and decided to have a throw a fit.
Okay, I got you.
And crashed the whole thing.
I was looking and I saw it freeze, and then it was like doo-doo. Everything went down. Everything went down.
He's leprechauns.
Now who did I say for Lexington? That was like the serious thing for Lexington.
I don't know.
I don't even remember, man. But I don't know. A live action movie for Gargoyles would be great. It would be really, really, really fun to see. As long, like you said, Triage. As long as they stick to the story, they stick to the source material, and they essentially they will be like just making the animation live action.
Listen, that's all they need to do.
Which we know they can do because he did it with the Emma Watson Beauty and the Beast movie. That movie was damn near shot scene for scene from the animated Beauty and the Beast. So we know they can do it. And again, since this show is very reminiscent of a Beauty and the Beast as storyline, I think that would be perfect. Or maybe, hear me out. They could have Manu play Goliath physically, but have Keith David do the voiceover for him.
I'm not against that.
Yeah, I feel like it'll be tricky and it's excessive just for the nostalgia of Keith David. It's pretty excessive, but it could work. It could work if they wanted it to. So all I know is that for me, I'm definitely enjoying the show as an adult as much as I enjoy the show more as an adult than I did when I was younger. And I'm having a good fucking time watching this show all over again. And I look forward to there being pardon me. I hopefully more people. Hopefully this episode brings more awareness to this show because I feel like a lot of people have forgotten about it. I'm a part of a whole lot of like 90s nostalgia pages on social media, and I don't ever see anyone posting about Gargoyles. It's Power Rangers, Animaniacs, Batman animated series stuff, and it's just never any Gargoyles stuff. So I hope this brings some more attention back to Gargoyles and really have people start to get back into it. And hopefully Disney decides to touch it up, do more to it. What are your thoughts, Triage?
Well, once again, I've said it before and I'll say it again. I'm not against the reboot, but if it's going to be done, it needs to be done correctly and done tastefully. I mean, if they want to have it keep that same level of grit and edginess that it had, I mean, they were doing some wild shit in this cartoon, from mobsters demanding protection money and blowing businesses up when people didn't pay, to full on gunfights, to turf wars between gangs. Like there was some shit going on in this Manhattan. So let's not get that out the way. The only question was, if they did do this, how would they do it in modern day and it not be goofy or stupid? Like, once again, we all know how I feel about Michael Bay's Ninja Turtles.
Mm-hmm. And we all know how I feel about Shyamalan's Avatars or Last Airbender.
So you got the source material. Everyone loves it. People thought it was golden. All you gotta do is follow the blueprint. Don't be changing shit. Don't be fucking with shit. Don't be doing shit to push an agenda.
As my great grandmother said, if it ain't broke,
Don't
fix
fix
it.
it.
You know, it's that simple. Just, you know, you got the blueprint. Follow the blueprint. Follow the blueprint. You know, and I agree. I feel like if they follow the blueprint that's already been set out in front of them, like over a decade ago, right? At this point, it's over a decade ago, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, I'm old. But yeah, you know, they follow the blueprint from over a decade ago, they'll be good. They'll be in a great situation to make more money. And hell, even if they did, want to know what I would accept? So if you look at a lot of these cartoons back in the 90s, they all took place in New York. Gargoyles, Street Sharks,
Spider-Man, Ninja Turtles.
Spider-Man, Ninja Turtles, Biker Mice from Mars. I really feel like, you know, maybe aside from like the Spider-Man and Ninja Turtles, they could even kind of do a collective universe, since that's the collective universe kind of thing, and since that's the big thing going on right now, collective universes, Gargoyles, Biker Mice from Mars, Street Sharks. What were the I know it was a video game. I don't know if it was a video game first. Jag, you might be able to help me out with this. Battletoads or some shit like that.
Oh my god!
Goes the video game first.
Yeah, video game first, and then they made the show.
He brought up the fucking Battletoads. Oh my god, the fucking Battletoads.
I'm just saying, you got all this going on, all this shit. Fucking SWAT Cats. They wanted to.
SWAT Cats is epic. SWAT Cats is definitely something that was special.
That shit was special. That shit was definitely special. I remember that shit. Oh, golden.
T-Bone and Razor were different.
So, you know, I feel like if they wanted to, they can play around and do shit like that and start bringing back a lot of 90s nostalgia. Speaking of 90s nostalgia, I want to see if you guys know this one. Not a lot of people know this one. It's a movie, a live action movie about martial arts wielding kangaroos.
Oh, Warriors of Virtue.
Oh God, he knows it. Thank God.
No clue.
No clue.
No clue.
Oh, we got to get you to watch Warriors of Virtue. That movie.
I've never actually seen it. I've never actually seen it, but I know what it's about.
Oh. We got to have a watch party. Because when I say we're talking about head of the time, yo, this movie was literally dark. They had a kid hanging on the edge of mortality. Like, bro, it was crazy.
Forgot about that.
Like, when did it come out? It came out in the 97. So it came out the same year It came out the same year that Gargoyles did.
Interesting.
Yeah, but it was like, I'll be honest, it was a flop. It was a great movie, great movie, but it ended up being a flop. It didn't have any recognizable faces in it at all. It didn't have the directors weren't anyone important. Like it just really wasn't. It wasn't there. You know, and what is this? Did they do? Did they make a sequel? No way. I'll check that later. There ain't no goddamn way. They did. They did make a sequel to it. Oh no, that is. Anyways, yeah. So we gotta do a watch party and watch this together, so we're all on the same page about how epic this damn. When I say martial arts, I mean martial arts. I'm talking hand to hand. Each one of them had their own element. Each one of them had their own weapon. Like, bro, shit was dope. Shit was dope. Like, you had one that didn't speak, one was mute. You used hand signs all the damn time. Yeah. And they're fucking kangaroos. They're kangaroos, guys. If you haven't watched it, Warriors of Virtue. I'm telling you, it's awfully good. I'll put it that way. But yes. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, that has been your super breakdown on this Super Sunday. Please, guys, go rewatch Gargoyles. If you are a 90s baby, hell, if you are just anybody at this point, go rewatch Gargoyles on Disney Plus. And I'm telling you, you're not gonna regret it. It's such a good show. As an adult, you'll really enjoy it. Any final parting words for the people, Triage?
Remember, we are defenders of the night. We are gargoyles.
Huzzah! Dude, that shit's just golden. It's golden. And to hear that Keith David's voice with that, it's like hearing Spawn whisper in my ear with
Pause.
wings.
Pause.
Keith David played Spawn too, right?
Yes.
I'm not bugging, right? Yeah.
Yes,
I don't know why I thought I was
too.
bugging. Yeah. But yeah, guys, please join us next week. Next week we are going to break down Batman the animated series. That's gonna be a good episode. Jag's gonna be he's gonna be pitching in on the dialogue on this next episode because his Batman knowledge is ridiculous as well. He knows way more than I do.
We will see. We will see.
Oh, that sounds like a challenge to me. That sounds like a challenge. We're about to have a bat off. Have a Batman off here. Wait, not that's starting not to sound right here.
The same thing.
My bad. About to have a Batman nerd off.
That still don't sound right, man.
But they get what I'm saying though. A battle of the minds. We're gonna battle of the minds about Batman. God, jeez, God, damn, bro. I tried. Okay, I tried to be as good as I possibly could be this episode. I could have been running rampant and been a whole wild man like the previous episodes. But no, I controlled myself this time. All right. Listen, guys, please come back to the stream. Not next week, week after next. I'm telling you guys, going to enjoy the show. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. I'm Power Maximus. We're here with Lord Triage, saying Jag. Guys, we'll see you guys next time. Peace.